Happy Friday, everybody,
Happy Friday.
and welcome to the Back Catalog Listening Party. My name is Mother Banjo, one of your hosts,
My name is Anthony Ihrig, the other host.
and joining us today from her home in Minnetonka, Minnesota, Katy Tessman.
That's a great soundbite.
Oh,
Well,
it's no sound effects required. Folks are excited for the party. Joe, good friends and true. Happy Friday. I still love Tony's opening music. Cheers me right up from
Thanks,
the
Joe.
start. I agree with that. Connie is joining us from Richfield. Hi,
Hey,
Connie.
Connie.
And David, good afternoon, everyone. Looking forward to today's show with Katy and finally being able to enjoy my beer, a Northeast, and my official BCLP pint glass. Oh, that's right.
Yay.
David, one of our fine
Yay!
Patreon supporters.
It was great to meet David the other day at a show and able to give him that pint glass in person. So enjoy,
Yes.
David.
Wonderful, wonderful.
And then we have someone joining us from Savage and also Chris having a Pilsner Italiano for today. And hi, Doyle, another
Doyle.
musician joining us today, and Lynn from Greenville, South Carolina. Thank you all for joining the party. We're so excited to have you. And I don't know about how your week has been. It's been a long week for me, but I was happy to have the sun coming back. We were talking about that before he came on here, and but unfortunately, I got a cold, and so I'm enjoying the medicinal qualities of a scotch. Is what I'm doing today. Warm me right up. And Tony, what are you enjoying on your Friday afternoon happy hour?
I went back to the ever flowing box of red wine and on my kitchen counter and also kind of warming up from the inside out here today.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And as your hat says, courtesy of past guest Alexa Dawson, music is medicine. So
That's right.
so if the whiskey doesn't do it, we know the music will here on the back catalog listening party. And Katy, are you enjoying any kind of beverage or snack for your Friday
Yes.
afternoon?
Yep, I've got a cup of warm tea in my favorite mug. It has banned books on the mug.
Ah,
Awesome.
nice.
Awesome. That's great.
Nice. Well, cheers
Some
to
of my
that.
favorite books.
Yeah.
Yes.
Cheers to
Good music.
cheers to librarians.
Yes.
Yes.
And everybody who supports the freedom of information. Thank you.
And my mom joining us from Connecticut. She's
Hi,
a cold
Mom.
too. Oh, and drinking
Oh.
tea. And that's, yeah, I've been doing that for most of the day. So
Mhm,
I'll probably go
mhm.
back to that.
Yeah.
But we are so happy to have you all joining us today. And we're excited to have Katy Tessman joining us. I was thinking back to when Katy and I first met, and I think it was not long after I moved to the Twin Cities in 2001, and which would have been right around the time that this debut album that we're going to be talking about today came out, which is kind of wild when I think about that I've known you for that long. And for folks who maybe are less familiar with you or your music, certainly folks who are based here in the Twin Cities have probably been seeing your name around a lot because you've been very busy over these last couple years. But there was a period where you were less busy in between this first album and this new one that you just put out. Maybe you could give folks a little background, though, about what led up to the release of your debut album, you know, where you grew up, a little bit of your origin story, and how you fell into writing songs.
Well, I grew up here in the Twin Cities in Brooklyn Center. I went to Cooper High School and I was really involved in the choir and musical program. I went to college at Morehead State University and I was going to study elementary education. But I auditioned for the children's theater production of Cinderella and I got cast as the wicked stepmother. And I love performing. So I studied theater for majority of my college career, but I ended up graduating with a speech communications degree, knowing that I didn't want to be an actor. I wanted to be a performer. And after like my senior year of college, I picked up the guitar and took the free lessons you get from Schmidt Music and learned the chords that you need to know to write some songs like the Indigo Girls.
Yeah.
And then I started writing songs. I worked in nonprofit organizations in marketing and communications. And I teamed up with some really great folks, and we formed a band called Joe's Elevator. And the first picture I shared is from our 1997 album release show.
Wow.
In 97, we called them CDs.
Yeah. There might have been a tape mixed in there too. I don't know.
Yeah. Mixtapes, we would make homemade mixtapes all the time. Yes, yes. But here we are. My band included a fellow songwriter, Scott Shore, who played the lead guitar, and Tom Lear, who plays bass, and Gail Wallinga on drums. And probably a year later, the band broke up.
As happens. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So then in 98, I teamed up with Dave Stanek and decided to do a solo career. And the next picture I shared with you is taken by my cousin's husband, John Duder, in Decorah, Iowa. And so here is like 28-year-old Katy Tessman
embarking on your solo career. You're heading down,
I like that.
You're heading down the path to your future in music there, I can see.
Yes. I was so excited. And Dave's partnered me up with Jay Moran, who had a brand new home studio in his basement in Madison, Wisconsin. And look at this print photo that I have.
You must have scanned all these in, yes?
Yes, I did. I scanned in all these pictures for you. And so this is 1999, and Jay and I starting work on this album. And he was wonderful to work with and had access to a lot of really great players on my album. But I would have to say the first song that we recorded was a song called Caribou. And it is a very near and dear song to me and my family and so many people. We would play it, Joe's Elevator. We would play Caribou a lot, but it didn't make the album. So I said to Jay, we need to make sure we have got Caribou on my album.
Excellent.
Awesome.
Yeah.
And it's the first track that you picked to feature from this record. Again, this album is called Fall. It came out in 2001. And I have to ask, Fall is, I saw the photo that we saw of you embarking on your new solo career was definitely an autumn shot with fallen leaves on the ground and whatnot. Does this fall refer to the season or another kind of fall? Or is it open for interpretation?
Fall. It's
Excellent.
another kind of fall. Yeah.
Is there anything else you'd like to say about this song Caribou before we take a listen to it?
Yeah, it is, the whole album is pretty autobiographical. When I was 28 years old, most of my songs were 100% about me. And
that tracks.
Yep.
And so this is about our family lake home, and the gang vocals include my mom and my dad and my brother and sister.
Cool.
Yes.
Aww.
And you'll hear some beautiful fiddle parts. It's Randy Sabine that's playing the fiddle.
Wow. World-class jazz violinist. Wow, that's amazing.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I'm excited to kick off our episode here today. This is Katy Tessman with Caribou here on the Back Catalog Listening Party.
4 hours north of here, my childhood waits for me in the water and in the woods. Growing up, summers were spent with family away from downtown neon what this place is to me. Thick trees, clear water. It's Caribou, yes, it's Caribou, a place that we all care about. Where the sky is blue and the water too. A place where you can let it all hang out. Pets will be taken on your arrival time. Welcome wagon down at the lake. Our days will be spent worshiping the sun and reminiscing of times past. Evenings beginning with a sun and a cold beer. Everything tastes better here because it's Caribou. Yes, it's Caribou, a place that we all care about. Where the sky is blue and the water too. A place where you can let it all hang out. Aunts, uncles, cousins, friends gather annually to celebrate independence. The morning songbirds bring peace to your soul. You won't want to go back home. Lying on the dock, eyes peeled for shooting star. Drink it in, it won't last forever. It's Caribou, yes, it's Caribou, a place that we all care about. Where the sky is blue and the water too. A place where you can let it all hang out. 4 hours north of here, my childhood waits for me.
All right. Katy
right.
Tessman with Caribou from her 2001 album Fall, which we are revisiting today with Katy, joining us live here on the Back Catalog Listening Party. And we might not be up at Caribou Lake in the beautiful woods, but I
I
have to
am now
say,
in my mind.
I know. And I was actually thinking about that like there's that line, everything is talking about having a beer and it's said, but everything tastes better here. And I was thinking, I was like, that's how I feel every Friday at 4 is like everything
Oh, yeah.
tastes and sounds better when we're gathering together and listening to music. And I did notice that you mentioned that you have a bunch of families singing on those vocals, and obviously talking about a family gathering place.
That's perfect.
But I see that your mom and dad, so two of your backing vocalists, are joining us from Arizona. So
Yes. Hi, Mom and
good,
Dad.
good singing, Mom and Dad.
Yes, fantastic. And I, of course, my ear as a folk musician went right to the fiddle and the mandolin.
Mandolin
Um,
too. Yeah.
You know, for
Yeah,
like-
Randy did the mandolin too.
Oh, he
Oh.
did. He did.
Randy
So I
did.
guess I was curious about, like your background with those types of folk instruments. Was that always part of your life? Did you grow up listening to that style of music, or did you find that at some point on your journey?
Yeah, I was really lucky that my parents instilled a wonderful library of music in me as a early on. Simon and Garfunkel and Joan Baez and Joni Mitchell and Carole King, and Peter, Paul, and Mary. And they could even type some more of the artists that they, because I'm blanking right now. But yes, I've always loved the acoustic singer-songwriter music very, very much. And then it was after college, my mom and dad and I would go to folk festivals together. And we together we became fans of Greg Brown and Lucy Kaplansky,
Mm.
Dar Williams. Yes,
Awesome.
yes.
Ah,
Cool.
wonderful. So, a few of those that you mentioned have been guests here on the back catalog listening party, Lisa Kaplansky and Dar Williams.
Yeah.
And so, when you went to folk festivals, growing up here in the Twin Cities, where were the ones that you were going to? Were you going up to Winnipeg Folk Festival or?
Yep, Winnipeg Folk Festival. Martin Sexton was playing one year.
Mm.
We became a big fan of him. And the Two Harbors Folk Festival, we attended that a couple of years in a row. There isn't one anymore, but yeah. And then they would be my roadies when I played at the Tree Frog Folk Festival
Oh,
and
I
New
remember that one.
London Folk Festival.
I
Yeah.
remember that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Very cool.
That's great. Well, I love the the different different influences. Obviously, so there's some rock and some folk and like various things coming in. Did you find that like any of your kind of theater stuff made its way into your music at all?
Oh, well, songwriting, I am able to play a character in the song. And now that I'm older, my songwriting, I think, is a little more mature, and I'm able to take on a role to write a song to try to express a story or something. Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah, it makes sense that it's essentially it's storytelling. In which way are you storytelling? By acting or on a stage or singing a song. And well, folks are really loving it. Yeah, Troy says Katy is very talented.
Oh,
And
thank you, Troy.
your folks are loving every minute. So
Yay.
love that. And an old Joe's Elevator fan too.
All right.
Oh,
It's going way
nice.
back.
Yes.
Well, this is great. And if you're new to the back catalog listening party, this is what it's all about, the conversation. So tell us where you're tuned in from, if you're enjoying a snack or beverage as part of your Friday happy hour. And of course, any comments or questions for Katy as we go along in today's show. Because that's what this is all about, is creating that lake gathering vibe virtually.
Let it all hang out. Yes.
Well, and you were talking about your parents' influence in terms of their library and their love of music, but obviously they were singing on that track. You are musical yourself. When you were gathered at the lake, was there any like sing-alongs or jam sessions that happened around the campfire?
Oh, yes, absolutely. Absolutely. Especially in my 20s and 30s, my guitar came with me everywhere I went. Then when I had babies, instead of carrying a guitar, I was carrying my babies. So
and now that your babies are pretty
6 feet,
grown.
6 inches tall. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Now you're
they're
not
carrying
carrying
your
them.
guitars, right?
Yeah, exactly. I was just going to say that. So they're musicians too. So this is kind of going
Yes.
down through the generations. That's great.
Yes, yes, absolutely. My sister plays guitar. My brother plays guitar. Yeah. Our family gatherings always had music happening.
I noticed that you say a lot of guitars. Are there any banjos that have made their way in? Inquiring minds want to know.
Only when Mother Banjo attends.
Well, I'm happy to attend any family gathering. You
Please do.
You just let us know. We'll make the trip up north.
And Tony, you can come too.
Oh, thanks, Katy.
You'll
Got a
want
couple
Tony,
banjos I could bring along,
and he
too.
could bring his dobro. We could
Yeah.
really diversify the
Yes.
band there.
Yes. You both make banjo look easy. That's for sure. I was in the front row seat at Tony, your show at the 318, and you just made it look so easy.
Oh, well, thank you, Katy.
Yeah, I agree with that. I'm excited to hear more music.
Yes.
So this next track that you picked to feature is Thinking of You. Is there anything you want to say about this song?
Yes, this song was recorded live. I think it was the very first take. I remember, this was a long time ago in 1999, 2000. So I remember doing it at least twice, and we decided to do a live take. And I play the mandolin on it, and then Richard Davis is playing bass.
Oh.
Richard Davis, who recently just passed away, he was a professor at the UW-Madison, and he has played with so many wonderful, talented, successful musicians like Bruce Springsteen And here we are in Jay's basement, um, working on the song. And
How cool is that?
when I know, so cool. When I walked into Richard Davis's house to ask him if he would record this song with me, the first thing I noticed above his fireplace on the mantle was Janis Ian 17 gold album. And I'm like, oh my gosh, you know, wow.
You're
I
on
was
that
just
one.
so starstruck. Yes. I
Oh, wow.
love that album. Yeah.
Well, and
Yeah.
how did that come about? How did you get hooked up with Richard?
Yeah. Well, he lives in Madison and I was working
Oh,
with Jay Moran. Yep. Yep. And he was one of Dave's professors. So the team said, we got to get Richard on this song. So, yep. Katie, let's go ask him. Yeah.
And I love that you went to his house to ask him
Yeah,
too. That's like, like that doesn't happen much these days. It's pretty much you're gonna get an email or a text or a Facebook message or something.
Right.
So I love that you
Right.
went over to his house, and because that takes a whole nother level of determination.
Yeah. Yeah. And he was like, yes. What do you
Confidence.
want? The answer is yes. Whatever you need, whatever you want. Yeah.
Oh,
that's
love
so
And I was
that.
like,
cool.
wait a minute. You played on Janis Ian 17?
Let's get back to this thing. Yeah,
And
Right.
now we're going to
Right.
listen to him on "Thinking of You"
yeah.
Yes.
from Katy Tessman here on the Back Catalog Listening Party.
I wear my heart on my sleeve. I've even pointed it out to a few. And then there was you. You reached out to me with your heart in hand. Don't dare move that hand. It's perfect. Nothing stood in our way. I think that was the plan. There was nothing to lose, just a best friend. And now the thought of your talk and smile with those tiny lines fill my eyes, fill my eyes. Just know that when you think of me, I am thinking of you.
Katy Tessman,
Oh,
thinking
yeah.
of you here on the Back Catalog Listening Party from her 2001 debut album Fall, which we are revisiting today with Katy, joining us live from her home in Minnetonka, Minnesota. And, as I was, listening to these songs, I was realizing that, it's your debut album, that these songs might not have been written all around the same time. Were these kind of a collection of things you had been working on for a while that, finally you were like, oh, I have enough to record an album, or were these written closer to the release of the album?
They were written closer to the release of the album. Probably between the years of 97 to 2000. Yeah, and that is about a specific person. You remember in the late 90s, there wasn't social media and it was harder to stay in touch with people. So I had a good friend that moved out east, and during the pandemic, I tracked him down and said, "Hey, did you know that I wrote a song for you?"
Oh,
Yeah,
20
yeah.
years ago.
so amazing.
That's cool.
Yeah.
That's so neat.
Um,
I was thinking about this kind of live nature of that last track, and I was loving the kind of back and forth. What an interesting arrangement between upright bass and mandolin and voice, and kind of along similar lines to what Ellen was asking, if this being your kind of like your first recording, did you go into each song kind of thinking like you're going to record them a specific way to kind of enhance the song itself? Was it just a matter of like when you had studio time, like what musicians were around? Like, I'm always fascinated with how people approach the arrangement of this stuff, because you got the lyrics and you got the songs and you got these things done, but now there's so many different ways you can manifest it in the world. And I just love to know how, these little sessions came about.
Yeah, the album that I just released in October, Michael Koppelman, my producer, and we were very thoughtful in the arrangements and which song should be put together on this package. But when way back in the year 2000, when we were doing Fall, Jay Moran said, "I'll do whatever you want." And it took about 2 years, because we would go to his studio in Madison and we'd have to record everything there. And so we were more limited on capabilities. But so I was the one that decided which songs. I picked the 11 songs I wanted. And then we treated each song as its own, like, deciding, okay, we want a full band sound for this one, more stripped down for this one. Yeah. And
interesting.
Jay has a core group of people that he works with.
Yeah.
And then some of the local people like Richard Davis, and then Clyde Stubblefield, who used to live in Madison.
Wow. And that's a big name for anybody who knows.
The funky drummer.
The funky drummer, yeah. I mean, I think that's like, so for those who don't know, Clyde Stubblefield was James Brown's drummer, and was recorded on that track, Funky Drummer, and is apparently one of the most sampled songs in history.
Wow.
And
I didn't know that.
you got him on your record. How cool is that, Katy? This is a legend here.
I know.
Was he also just in the neighborhood?
Did you go to
then?
his house too? Yeah. Did you just knock on his door?
Well, we saw him at the bar.
Oh.
Really?
Yeah. Yep.
That's how this stuff works, isn't it?
Yep.
Yeah.
And Jay says, "Okay, I got Clyde coming," and so we went that weekend, and I think Clyde did this track maybe 2 or 3 times, and that's it. It took maybe 15 minutes to do this song. Yeah.
Well, it's when I saw that in the
amazing.
pictures. So our guests send pictures ahead of time, and I was sifting through them. And I'm a former drummer, and I just pretty much stopped in my tracks. I was like, wait a minute. Clyde Stubblefield's on this track. You guys can Google it. We'll put it in the show notes. But Funky Drummer, there's a whole Wikipedia entry on it. It's you've heard the sample of him playing this beat, from improvised on a James Brown song, probably a million times in your life. And I just think that's so cool. Yeah. And so I noticed, actually, I mean, maybe this is a little preview into the next track, which is called Odd Timing, which is interesting because he's got great timing, but that you feature him kind of to kick this whole song off. Can you talk about, speaking of arrangements, what's going on here? I want to know a little bit more about this song before we listen to it.
Well, this is more of a rockin' song that I wrote. It's a love song. And because of the groove of how I arranged it, just strumming my acoustic guitar, my team just said, "Hey, we need Clyde to do this one." So it was just like, okay.
Sure.
Yeah. You know? Yeah.
All right. And had you
Not
heard
a
of
whole
him
lot of
before that?
details.
Like, did you know kind of like his background at this point?
Oh, probably if yeah, but I wasn't a huge like fan until after I worked with him.
Sure.
Yeah. Yeah.
Sure.
I didn't study drumming like you did,
Yeah,
Tony.
you weren't nerding out as much as me, but holy moly.
No. I appreciate the nerding out. Yes.
Yeah, well, it's rare. It's rare that that you see a legend like that just pop up on a debut solo record.
Right.
So
Right.
super cool. Well, is there anything else that you want to say about this track, or do you want to just take a listen?
Yeah. Oh, it's funny to hear the recording sound, the version of it on the album, knowing that I would play this song solo so many times, and then we've got this fantastic arrangement. It's neat.
Do you like think about that drum part in your head when you play it
Oh
solo?
yeah, yeah. I try to do it with my fingers. You know.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, all right. Ready to get funky, folks. This is Katy Tessman, Odd Timing, here on the Back Catalog Listening Party.
If this is a joke, please tell me now. It seems too good to be true. Don't take my heart and walk all over it, even though I give it to you. You say what I want to hear at the honest times. The words you choose to use just blow my mind. Your crooked smile is like sunshine on my skin. You've got so many layers, just like an onion. You say what I want to hear at the honest times. The words you choose to use just blow my mind. You don't look at me strange. I just realized feeling your look on me with those emerald eyes. You say what I want to hear at the honest times. The words you choose to use just blow my mind. If this is a joke, please tell me now. This seems too good to be true. Don't take my heart and walk all over it, even though I give it to you. Even though I give it to you.
I wasn't sure if there'd be one more drum beat. That
Yes.
was Katy Tessman with Odd Timing from her 2001 album Fall, and debut album featuring that kind of star power. Pretty amazing.
Wow.
And just a reminder that if you want to check out this great library of photos, maybe you're just listening to this episode, then we archive all of this stuff on the Back Catalog Listening Party website, backcatalog listeningparty.com. We put the YouTube link in there, but then also any other web links, and also all these great photos.
Yeah.
Katy gave us more photos than most, especially for an older recording.
Yeah, and
Because
painstakingly like
scans
annotated
them.
each one. So
They
you
were,
got to check it
yes.
out. I love it.
And so, yeah, you can see all these legendary players recording their parts in the studio. It's pretty amazing. So I definitely want to check that out. I also want to mention that you can own this album. She still has physical copies of this album, which is also amazing
Yeah, that's
for an
that's great.
older record. And it's available on CD, as well as you can get the high-res digital files. You can get them on our website, katytessman.com, or guess what today is, Tony?
Da, 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 da.
It's the
Bandcamp
best
Friday.
the best Friday of the month. Every Friday
Yay.
is great here on Back Catalog Listening Party,
Bandcamp Friday.
but
Why-
Bandcamp Friday is special.
Ellen, why is it such a great Friday? You tell the folks.
It's such a great Friday because artists get 100% of the sales. Bandcamp forgoes their cut. So it's a great time to support artists. You can get their merch, their digital files of their music. You can get physical product, CDs, vinyl, any of that stuff. If they have books or t-shirts or any of that stuff they're selling on Bandcamp. This is the day to buy it from Bandcamp because artists get 100% of the sales. And Katy has her album, this album we've been revisiting today, Fall, up there, but also, yes, and you can get all the liner notes. Look
Well,
at all
look at
that.
that. Is that lyrics too in there, Katy?
Lyrics,
Oh, yes.
vintage photos
You
with
can't
90s,
get, well, you can't get
early
this stuff
2000
anymore.
looks. Yeah,
I love it.
exactly. And oh yeah, that's great. That's definitely an artist looking forward to that career. So I love that. I love that, and the leather jacket choice.
Yes.
And so you can get that album, but also I want to mention that Katy has a brand new record out that just came out this past fall called Fly, which, by the way, I want to point out, you had Fall come out in 2001, then fast forward to 2023, because you didn't have any albums in between that point.
I did not.
And then you
No.
released Fly. So I think things are looking up for you, Katy, literally. From Fall to Fly.
I hope so, yes.
And this new record is so wonderful. Is there anything else you want to say about this new record, Fly, that's out now?
Well, what's so great about these two things is all the stuff that happened in between. And I'm a mom of two boys, and one of my sons played on this
Oh, how cool is that?
album. Yeah,
More of
yeah.
that family connection here.
Exactly. Lewis is a fantastic guitar player, and we have shows together as much as possible. But there's a song that I wrote that I recorded on this album, and it was also on the Joe's Elevator album. And Lewis loves to play it, and he wants to record it in the future.
cool.
It's so cute. Yes. So I wrote it when I was 20 something. Lewis is now 20 something, and he loves to play my song Alone.
Oh, that's
Aw.
so great. Well, you can get the new album there, and I'd be remiss if I didn't mention today is also special, not only because it's Bandcamp Friday, but because it's a release day for you. You released a new single today.
Whoa, awesome.
Yes.
Because you're not busy enough. The name of this new single is called The Master Key. Is there anything you want to say about that?
It is a song I wrote with Sean Schiff, and it's a love song duet. And we commissioned Doyle Turner to sing along with the duet because we needed a gorgeous male vocal voice, and so Doyle is perfect. And there's Doyle. He loves my son, Sweet Lou, Paul Lewis. Yes,
Doyle's got a great voice. You're right.
Doyle
Yeah.
is very talented. Yes, so the
Yes.
Master Key is available today. Yay!
Yay.
Hashtag
Well, cheers.
I love Lewis.
Love Lewis.
Yeah.
Hashtag love Lewis.
Well,
Right.
here's
It's
to
gonna be-
Katie's new single,
Yeah,
everyone.
cheers to that. And
Pick it
if
up
you're-
at bandcamp.com.
Yes, or if you're just listening, bandcamp.com, also katytessman.com. And again, check out those show notes for all those links here at backcataloglisteningparty.com/196.
And this is a great way to ensure that you not only get Katie's beautiful music, star-studded music from Sweet Lou to Richard Davis to everyone else that she's worked with, But also it helps fund the next Katy Tessman project. And we don't want to have to wait 22 years for the next next Katy Tessman project. That's all I'm saying. So you can help support her that way. And speaking of support, we want to thank the folks that support this show and have kept this show going
Yeah.
for almost 3 years.
What?
What?
That's crazy.
Uh, we want to thank these folks. These are our Patreon supporters, and they support the show and these were the folks that when we were like, oh, things are opening back up, maybe we don't need to do the back catalog listening party that we launched during the pandemic. And then these folks were like, no, you're going to keep the party going. And these folks make it happen. Penny, Anna, Linda, Bevan, Connie, Vaughn, Alan, Chris, Alex, Becky, Peggy, Joe, Jim, Beverly, John, Fred, Tim, Sarah, David, Jocelyn, Matt, Steve, Mark, Homestead, Pick and Parlor, Severin, Lynn, Mary, Many Tracks, Nikki, Joni, David, CJ, Wiley, and Stephanie, and maybe you can join our Patreon community. And when you do, you might get invited to after parties with the artists, special live streams. You can get that founders pint glass that I think David was enjoying his beer in today. So that's all stuff you can get. You also get first look at all the guests that are here on the back catalog listening party. So if you want to join our Patreon community, we hope that you will, because we have some good stuff cooking, especially as we near our 200th episode.
Ooh, that's just blowing my mind.
Yay.
But I want to
So
also
cool.
thank all of you for supporting this, and anybody who's out there listening right now, who's watching or listening on the podcast. Supporting independent musicians like Katy is what is our mission. That is what we're all about. We want more. We believe music is medicine here at the back catalog, and we want to spread that medicine as far and wide as possible. So we sure appreciate you being here today.
And I will say, as someone who is struggling with a cold, as I'm sure many of you out there are this time of year, that music is medicine. I have to say, I'm already feeling my sinuses clear.
It has nothing to do with
It's the magic of it's the magic of Katy Tessman's music, and all of you joining us in real time together, listening to the songs and talking about them. So 4 years.
Oh my God.
Thanks, Mom. Yep. I've told you, you're right. We started in 2020. I can do math. Yeah.
It's been a blur.
Yeah, there was at least 1 year there that is just a do-over.
Just didn't happen.
Mulligan
Do-over year.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. Oh my goodness. Yeah, 4 years. But anyway, you all are what make it happen. And also artists like Katy who say, yes, I'm gonna revisit my 28-year-old self and talk about these songs, which is like wonderful, and also kind of I don't know, it's very vulnerable to go back to your old recordings, even if it wasn't as long as 22 years ago. You just I feel like something I recorded 2 years ago I'm kind of embarrassed about, because we're evolving. Hopefully we're all evolving artists, and we wouldn't record the songs the same way tomorrow that we did today. So we really appreciate Katy joining us today. This is so wonderful. And we're going to squeeze in 1 or 2 more songs. We'll see how the time goes. I think we have time for 2. What do you think, Tony?
I think so.
Okay.
I sure would like
and
that.
this song is the one that Lou likes, right? That he wants to record.
Yes. This is the song that Louis really loves to perform. On my album, on the fall album, it's Jay Moran that's playing the lead guitar. And he was the producer of the album. And Alone, I wrote. Oh,
Sorry.
yeah.
I just wanted to show a picture. Katy shared a picture of her and her son playing. We've been hearing a lot about Lou. We got hashtags trending. So I just wanted folks to see what we're talking about.
Sweet Lou in action. Yeah.
There you go.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry,
Yeah.
Continue.
No, that's okay. That's okay. I wrote this. I wrote this song in '96, and I remember the moment that I decided to write the song, and I remember all the things. And it's a kind of a woe is me, I feel sorry for myself song. But when I got to the end, when I was knowing that this is a cool song, I was feeling so optimistic that I was happy I was alone, because then I got to write a song.
And
Uh,
this
remember
is
that
funny
very
because you wrote
clearly.
this before you were a mom, right?
yeah,
So
I
like
was about to
that's
say
even
the
more
same thing.
because I was I was just thinking I was like, like since we're all parents here, Tony,
Yeah.
you, Katie, and me,
Right.
it's like
Alone has a new meaning after,
yeah,
before, and after
exactly.
parenting.
Exactly. You're
Yep.
like, I get to write songs. But
Yeah.
it's true. I think this often happens when we've heard a lot of our guests say this, that they write a song and they, it's inspired by one thing, and then they realize later that actually it might be about something totally different, or it has this sort of predictive quality that you're like, oh yeah, actually I solved my own problem by writing this song. So,
Yes. Yes.
which I
Exactly.
love that. It's so great.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
All right. Well,
Uh,
let's give it a spin. This is Katy Tessman with Alone here on the Back Catalog Listening Party.
Think to myself, alone in my room, that damn thing better ring soon. Lump in my throat won't go away. Choke it down. Gotta make some
Katy Tessman with Alone from her 2001 debut album Fall, which we are revisiting today on the show with Katy, joining us live from her home in Minnetonka, Minnesota. And I feel like, again, we were talking about the predictive quality of songs, and I feel like a song like Alone during the pandemic, when we launched this show, would have been very apropos. Well, looking for that time alone. And Katy, I know you're muted right now, but hopefully if you unmute yourself,
Yes.
you can tell us, has that song changed as you sing it now?
Not very much. I
Mhm.
don't think it's changed much at all. I wrote it when I was in my 20s, in my little studio apartment in Uptown, and it is a great sort of window into the past of um, feelings and emotions that are very universal.
Yeah. Yeah. That's kind of wonderful and
Yeah.
rare that a song hasn't changed much for you in all those years. That's kind of great.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
well,
Speaking of windows into the past,
Right.
whoa.
one of the
Okay.
pictures we have here is you were actually recording. It looks like this must have been in that Madison studio.
Yep. Down in the basement,
Ah,
makeshift. Yeah, we found some foam. We put it in the corner.
nice. Nice.
Yeah. On that song alone, I sang harmonies with myself, which was so fun. It was so
Mm.
fun to do.
Yeah, I was gonna say
Yeah.
the blend was really spot on, you know? It's like you were the same voice.
Yeah, like blood harmony.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Does that
Yeah.
count? I don't
Yeah.
know.
Yeah,
I think
exactly.
so. Yes.
Well, speaking of images, you did send so many great images. If you wouldn't mind, I wouldn't mind just getting a little context for the ones that you sent, the other
Okay.
ones we haven't gotten to yet.
Excellent.
Joni had mentioned how much she was enjoying the photos.
Oh,
So
yay.
I'm going to pop those on the screen, and maybe you could just kind of tell us a little bit about
Okay.
each one. We saw this one here, but
Okay.
this looks like
So
another
yes,
member of
that's
the band.
Wally Ingram. I have these print photos that I went through. It was been so fun preparing for this interview. Thank you. And the only picture I have of Wally performing percussion was like two bad pictures. So in my scrapbook, I pasted them together.
I love
And
it.
then
I love it.
and then the other one is Jay Moran and Wally and I, probably in Madison somewhere in the year
Nice.
2000. Yep. And then that's my album release show for Fall at the Fine Line again. And Jay Moran was my lead guitar player for a long time. And then the next one is There We Are at Lake Harriet Bandshell. And I
Oh,
know
it's
the
a great
bandshell,
venue here in Minneapolis.
yeah, the bandshell has received a new facelift. But that's how it looked 20 years ago.
Nice.
Yes. Oh, I went on 2 tours supporting this album, and I was the only one that took pictures. So
So you're not in any of the photos, is what you're
no,
saying.
no.
No, I'm glad you documented it though. At
Yes.
that time, you
Okay.
know, it was hit or miss whether anybody got any documentation. So
Right.
Yeah.
Music Millennium is a music store in Portland, Oregon. And so I liked seeing my name in the big
yeah, look at that.
sign.
Records on the shelf, folks. That is
Ah.
just a dream for a first record, right? To see it on a music store shelf.
Yes. So cool. Yeah.
And this next photo is near and dear to my heart because it features the LaPlants. Donnie and
Yeah.
Lloyd LaPlante.
Mhm.
Can you tell us about this? I'm maybe thinking you have a LaPlante guitar in your
I
arsenal.
do. Yep, and mandolin. That's
Oh, nice.
so yep, after the album and I was doing more touring all over, my dad said, "Let's go see if Lloyd has a guitar for you."
Awesome.
Our Lake Home Caribou is just north of Grand Rapids, and that's where
Oh,
the
perfect.
plants make their home. Yes.
Yes, and just for the record, for folks who are longtime listeners of the show, you may remember Joe Walsh, mandolin player, fabulous world-class mandolin player and teacher at Berklee School of Music. Also featured a LaPlante on that episode, and Becky Buller, one of our past guests, amazing all-star bluegrass player, a LaPlante. So I'm just putting this out in the universe because I don't think enough people know and appreciate the LaPlante family, and I was so happy to see. This picture in your list of pictures here.
And Donnie LaPlante there is the father of Jed LaPlante, who is the front man of Wild Horses.
Yes,
Mhm.
excellent.
Yes. And here I am with Heidi Holton on KAXE. I pasted a couple of print pictures there to illustrate that.
Little radio show.
Mhm.
Oh, and this was
Is that
my
the Ginkgo?
last show. Yes, that's at Ginkgo. I think
Good
you were
eye,
there,
Ellen.
Oh,
Ellen.
yeah. Well, I recognize the trees behind,
Mhm,
so
mhm.
like they have very distinctive indoor plants
And I
at
love
Yes.
the
Ginkgo.
title of your concert here, Pregnant Pause.
I was
This
5
is
months pregnant with Lewis there.
and this was kind of
Oh.
your farewell show for a little bit.
Yep, I didn't think it was gonna be 20 years. Oh, I played a wedding after Lewis was born. You can see my dress has nursing access. And it was very hard to do anything without holding my child.
Yes.
He was super fussy, and so my mom came to the wedding and she snapped that picture.
Mm.
So yeah, and then in 2009, when Lewis was 6 and Max was 3, I was diagnosed with breast cancer. So I wanted to put that in this story of photographs.
Mm.
And then do we have a picture of me and the boys with my book? I don't think so.
I don't know if I
I-
do, but let's get you
It's-
highlighted here.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I wrote this book, Our Mama is a Beautiful Garden, and it's our family's story about breast cancer.
Wow.
Yeah, I
And-
did
and-
that.
Yeah, you did that during that time too. So you weren't,
Yeah.
you were doing
You were
stuff.
you were busy, not just raising
Yeah.
2 kids, but writing a book, fighting cancer. You had a lot on your plate.
Yeah,
Um,
during those 20 years.
Yeah, exactly. A lot of life happening, which is no wonder that you've stored up a whole lot of great songs that you've been releasing and as singles, and then of course this new album, Fly. And if folks want to get the album, get the book, all that good stuff, they can go to katytessman.com. They'll also find all your tour dates. Again, you're very busy these days. I know on February 10th, so next weekend, you'll be doing a show in St. Paul at KJ's Hideaway, St. Paul, Minnesota, with Taylor James Donsky, past guest, and on March 23rd at the Green Room in Minneapolis. So folks can find all your tour dates there and sign up for your email list and all that good stuff at katytessman.com. And again, don't forget Bandcamp Friday.
Bandcamp Friday.
Bandcamp Friday. You can name your own price on Bandcamp, so you can also throw a tip in there as well. So you can buy Fall, you can buy the new album Fly, you can buy the new single, The Master Key, which is out today, and you
Yep.
could throw in a little extra for the next album fund, because again, we're not going to wait another 20 plus years for the next Katy Tessman record. So
Thank
no.
you. Thank
Yep.
you.
And for those watching on YouTube, the link is in the comments. For those listening on the audio, go to our website, backcataloglistening.party.com. But you know what? I think we have time for one more tune, if you guys do, if you guys are up for it.
yes,
Because this is the one we were talking about, Fall,
Yep,
Yeah.
the title track.
the title track. What else would you like to say about it quickly?
It's a love song.
perfect. That's the way to end a show, right?
Yep.
That is
yes.
the way to end the show. We're going to give it a spin right now. We're going to conclude our hour with Katy Tessman with Fall here on the Back Catalog Listening Party.
Rooted in the ground, she stands staring blankly into the ceiling of blue. The
right. Katy
Yeah.
Tessman with Fall from her 2001 album of the same name, and her debut album. Katy Tessman joining us today on the back catalog listening party today to talk about it, to revisit this debut record. And folks really enjoying it. Connie, Alinda, Joni, and thank you all for joining us today, including Katie's parents, because the show wouldn't be possible without them. So
That's right.
we're really happy to have you all joining us today, and I feel like my cold might be going away. I think it's the music, Katie. I'm
worked.
just saying, yes.
Good.
Remember that you can pick up this album when you go to katytessman.com, or when you go to Bandcamp. Again, it's Bandcamp Friday. Artists get 100% sales. So if you're looking to buy some albums for Katy or any of your favorite artists, that's the place to go today to do it. And also you can check out her book and all the other shows she has coming up at katytessman.com. And you'll want to do that because Katie's been churning out so much great music and putting together so many wonderful shows with other Minnesota artists. So check out what she's doing. I can't keep up with it all. So
Indeed.
Thank you.
the only way to
Thank
keep
you.
up with it is to get on her email list and follow
That's
her
right.
on all the social places. That's the only way. Thank you all for joining us today.
This has been so much fun. It was really therapeutic, actually, going through these memories. So thank you.
Oh,
Awesome.
well, thank you for
Katie.
spending an hour plus with us today, and to all of you for joining us. Remember, if you like the episode, as we know you have and are enjoying the show, like it on YouTube, give it the thumbs up, direct more bots to Katy Tessman.
That's right.
You can also subscribe to our YouTube channel because we do this every Friday at 4 p.m. Central, not with Katy Tessman, but with other therapeutic music, where we believe music is medicine indeed. So you can join us next week for another edition of the Back Catalog Listening Party. But until then, have a wonderful weekend. Stay healthy out there. There's lots of bugs flying around. But Katy Tessman's music might be the cure. So
I think so. All right, folks. Thanks again.
Yay.
We'll see you next week
Cheers.
here on the Back Catalog Listening Party. Cheers.